In today's video, we're going to be reviewing the HAMASHO washed from Ethiopia by Gimisa Coffee in Seoul, Korea. Come on, check it out. This coffee comes from one of my dearest friends, Inyoung Song in Seoul, Korea. She gave me this bag and I was like, oh, fantastic. She's truly an amazing coffee talent, so I'm really excited to try the coffee. Now, of course, today's February 4th, so it's been a while since she gave this to me back in December, and the roast date on the bag is November 21st, 2022. This is the HAMASHO washed from Ethiopia, and HAMASHO is actually a washing station owned by Benza. This coffee comes from a conglomeration of 1,500 smallholder farmers. Most of the farmers in Ethiopia are smallholder farmers that have maybe like 1 acre of coffee, so really tiny operations. So they all bring their coffee cherries to the washing station, and then it'll be processed together and then sorted and then graded. Now, the really unique thing about this coffee is that it comes from 22 to 2,300 meters above sea level. Now, what that means is that the higher up in the mountain you go, the colder it is overall, the less oxygen, the growing conditions become a little bit tougher. So the growth of the coffee takes a lot longer than at lower elevations, and typically that leads to higher quality. Then the coffee is washed for about 36 to 72 hours, and then this coffee is dried on raised beds for about 9 to 12 days. It's a nice and simple packaging. What I like about it is her sticker, the label, actually wraps around over the top, sealing off the bag here. So instead of using different types of closures or things to keep the bag down, the whole sticker comes around, and that's really clever. All right, let's open it up. Oh, it's got some toasty notes, and the beans, I don't know if you can see this, the beans are pretty small. Actually, let me go grab a tray. Because it looks so small, I wanted to put them into a tray so that you can see them more readily. So these should be screen 13, 14, so they're relatively small in size. But if we look carefully at them, we can see that it's very nicely sorted. Everything looks uniform in size. The roast profile looks very, very even and consistent. There's some toasty notes that are coming off the whole bean. Some kind of hint of tropical fruit on the nose. We use 2 grams of ground coffee for every ounce of brewed coffee, meaning for a 12-ounce serving, we're going to be weighing out 24 grams. I've got 26. We're going to add a little bit just for the grinder to clear. Let's go grind it. So as you can see, here's the ground coffee. It's a relatively lighter medium style roast. As you can see here in the grind sample, I'm getting toasty notes on the fragrance, a little bit of sweetness. For our brewing, we're going to be using the Rattleware cupping brewer. This is a type of brewer that allows you to brew a full cup of coffee, but more in a style that we would use when we were cupping coffees to critically taste coffee. So it's kind of a compromise between both. It also will allow you to do a cupping style brew that can be shared, quote unquote, hygienically more than the regular standard cupping. Put all this in here. We need our timer. What we're going to do is we're going to take our water just off the boil and add it in. While starting the timer, make sure you do it because there's a lot of turbulence that mixes in. We're going to pour it all in one pour. Oh, darn it. About 400 grams of water. And now we're going to wait 4 minutes. So during this phase of the brewing, the coffee does float to the top, creating a crust. Now, just like in regular cupping, you can get in there and do some aromatics. I'm getting some notes of like mandarin, maybe mandarin peel, orange peel kind of notes, even like decopon, which is that sumo style orange that comes out during this time of year. Citrusy, orangey, mandarin aromatic is on the nose.
A few minutes later.
Okay, we're coming up to 4 minutes. Now we're gonna break the crust that's formed. Now this is also a great opportunity for you to get your nose close to the top and really get a smell for what's lying underneath the crust. All right, so let's break it. Make sure to inhale deeply as you break the crust. So in that break, I'm getting some diatomaceous earth notes, which are very warm and comforting. There's also still a little bit of that citrusy note. Now I'm also going to stir the top, just the top a little bit. We don't want to get too much turbulence down to the bottom, because what we want to do is encourage any kind of coffee grinds that are floating to fall down below the wasted part of the glass. What I'm going to do also is take 2 spoons and I'm going to scrape the top of the cup to remove any of this debris. So this waiting period also allows the coffee to cool down a little bit more. That way it becomes a lot easier to evaluate the flavors. All right, it's about 8 minutes. We're gonna take our brewer. This brewer comes with a plunger. And what this plunger does, it's meant to separate below the wasted part of the brewing device to keep all the grounds in there. So you just kind of go in with it gently and just kind of let it sit at the bottom. It'll kind of be a little bit snug. Now it's not secure. So it's not wedging in there, it's just sitting there. So if you tilt it, it will fall. So when you actually go to pour your coffee, you want to hold on to it with 2 hands and then just let it pour into your cup. Just like that. And as you can see, it's a little bit cloudy like you would expect from a full immersion brewing. Again, there are those nice, like citrusy notes that are on the nose. Now the coffee's still a little bit warm, especially in this nice glass. So it's a little bit hot to the touch. But we're gonna take a little bit of a sip. Very clean, crisp, lightly acidic, but those citrusy notes are apparent on the palate as well. It's a light-bodied coffee. Very clean overall. There's no off flavors. There's nothing that makes me cringe. Nothing that makes you cringe, nothing that makes the cheeks pucker, nothing that I find off. It's very clean, it's kind of got that nice citrusy note to it. It's really refreshing, juicy. The juiciness part of it kind of hits you. If you're from the United States, you're probably in Jolly Rancher candies. And those Jolly Rancher candies, especially like the sour apple, brings this puckering effect to your cheeks, right? Now, it doesn't have any kind of sour apple flavor, but that same reaction to the acidity is what I'm getting on the cheeks now. Really pretty coffee. Yeah, that's good. That's good. That's coffee that makes me happy. That makes me happy because I don't have to hear one of my friends when like, you didn't like my coffee? It's like, I did. All right, the HAMASHO Wash Ethiopian from Gimisa Coffee in Seoul, Korea. Really great. Really, really great. Now, of course, because it's now February 2023, when you go on their website, they no longer have this particular coffee on offer, but there's a whole bunch of other coffees that Inyoung has prepared for anyone. They look really nice. They range in prices. You know, I mean, I think they're reasonably priced for what they are. It's got a nice selection as well as a couple signature blends for you to check out. So go check it out. It's gimisa.com, real easy to find. Anyway, great coffee. If you like this video and you'd like to see more,